Let's get into it. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Today is still Wednesday for me, 3 p.m. So I'm getting this video done prior to going into tomorrow, but I'll make sure you all have this going into Friday session. So just keep in mind, Friday is a half day. So just be cautious, right? Don't force anything. We can expect some low volume, some low volatility, but it's our job as traders to react, not predict. So still show up on Friday and treat it like a normal day. So that being said, let's get into it. So, beautiful here on the SPY. This thing is textbook. I know I brought it up that this was the dip buy down here. This was the dip buy, and you can see this thing is trending higher. The beautiful thing about SPY is it is respecting each of its key levels on the dot. You should be cashing out on the SPY if you're trading this every day. The only way you're not like cashing out on the SPY is if you're just not accepting the risk, and every time you enter the trade, you're just micromanaging your position, because this thing is just giving solid break and retest over each key level here. So let's go here on the intraday. We can see, right, not the prettiest open, not the prettiest open. Of course, when price is opening up and it's not near my key levels, I just ignore it. Why? Because I'm not going to take a trade off of it if it's not near my key level. But you see, we ended up getting that break, good displacement. Buyers stepped up, pushed this thing higher. You got another shot, pushed this thing higher, and end of day, it ended up holding. So you can clearly see SPY is treating its key levels with the ultimate respect, which is really, really cool to see. Now, I was saying that I was looking for, my break and retest over 673. I know some people did catch that, but to each their own. The only way you really catch this trade is it depends on how long you trade, right? For me, I'm only trading really the first 2 hours. Very rare the 2.5 hours. That's very, very rare. But you can see this ended up setting up near the end of the day. But I said, this 673 is the next dip buy. We got the break, we got the retest, and what happens? That was the dip buy. So we're in a bullish market. I said this a very long time ago. The market we're seeing right now, it really reminds me of the COVID days, just straight upside. Every single day, SPY is just respecting these key levels and stair stepping. And I've been trying to teach you, you know, how to read market structure and in context. And it's so cool to see this on the SPY. And the reason for that being is if you're applying what I'm teaching you and we get pullbacks in the market or whatever, you're not panicking. A lot of people are panicking. We're not. We had 3 weeks, really 4 weeks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So really a month of just straight pullbacks on the weekly time frame on the market. But as you know, it was because we were filling gaps and thin volume. But a lot of people are seeing this as, okay, the end is here. It's so funny looking at last week, last Thursday, last Friday, you thought, the market was pretty much going to reverse. And we ended up holding this. And look at us now. We're pretty much back at the top of the range. We're not that far away from all-time highs, which is really crazy to see here. Now, going into the rest of, honestly, just moving forward in general on this buy, now you're really just looking for the break and retest on any key level. The reason for that being is now we're outside of this channel. We're outside of this channel. Now, we can still look for the pullback long here off of 673. The reason for that being is, remember, we got the breakout here on the daily. Remember, the break and retest happens on every time frame. We got it here on the daily. We finally got that candle closure. Right now, that's a solid setup. So you can still look for this off of 673. But we're outside of this channel. We're no longer in this channel. So this is valid, and this is valid. Now, you got to be careful, once you get up here, just because we're at the top of the range. What happens last time we made an all-time high? We pulled all the way back. That's what I've been trying to teach you when I say, hey, I don't want to enter up here because I'm late to the party. This is normal. We make an all-time high, and then we pull back. That's normal. What's the saying? Buy low, sell high. So you can't be surprised when we get a lot of selling pressure when we get back to the top of the range. So you're just looking for this. This is still really the A-plus shot on 673, but this is solid too, right? We know we're looking for pullback longs, and we are bullish bias on the overall market, but super solid here just to see, this type of recovery on the SPY. Look at this. Look at this. Everyone thought the end was near, and I kept saying, bro, as long as we're above 653, I'm bullish bias on this market. I don't care about any of this. I understand what's happening. This was a news catalyst play. We already went over that, but every time we pull into the 653, buyers just step up and push this thing higher. That's no coincidence. Every single time, right? History likes to repeat itself. So hopefully, this time we can actually break through this all-time high and then continue higher. But as of now, we're outside of the channel. That's what we want to see. We're outside of this channel. So now we can expect, cleaner price action to the upside. QQQ. So same thing here. Today, the game plan was a break and retest over 612.80. You never got that. Maybe you did. It just would have been a very aggressive entry, to be honest. Kind of just like this buy today. Not the best price action at open. You can clearly see that. Not the best. You got a nice breakout, but this is an aggressive entry. You did get a candle closure. Yeah, you got a retest, but that's not enough displacement for me. We didn't even break above this swing high before we got the retest. So this thing is still in play. The way I see it is, on the daily, we ended up breaking this level, and we haven't retested that. So we're still looking for the pullback long here off of 612.80. Let's go here on the daily. Right? Today's a big day. Today's a very big day. The reason for that being is you've been hearing me say over and over again, what happens every time we push into the 612.80? Wicks, wicks, wicks. See that? But what do we notice today? We finally got a little bit of this daily candle closure to close above it. Pretty much the daily candle did close above it. That's exactly what you want to see. I love our 617.20 reaction. We push into this, seller step in. That shows me that's a strong key level. So Now you're just looking for this. We're still looking for this channel to turn into support. Going into Friday or Monday, this is a super solid setup, right? Over 617.20. Why? We're above this channel. And look at the RR here. There's nothing in this way. If we can get over this, that is a solid trade. That is a very solid trade. So coming into Friday, you just want to look for either a pullback long off of 612.80. This is still valid. Remember, we need to break and retest on the daily. So you want to see a daily candle form above here, pull back to 612, or you're just looking for this. This is a high probability shot too. We're outside of the channel, we're trending, and we're above the previous high. So super solid setup there. IWM. So I had someone reach out and they wanted me to break down IWM, which is cool. I've said this in the past. I used to trade this name religiously. It's crazy. Like, you know how everyone focuses on SPY and Qs? This was all I used to trade. It's all I used to trade. You can trade 0 DTEs on here too. I used to trade this religiously, so it's pretty cool to look at this again. Okay, so as always, we're going to start on the weekly. Now, I'm going to give you a better visual here, right? We all love a good visual. So what do you notice here? Everything I'm teaching you, right? What do you notice here? Trend higher, consolidation. What are we waiting for? Next leg higher. So this is healthy. We're bullish bias on this name. We're clearly trending. We just passed through, this all-time high. We made an all-time high less than 2 months ago. IWM is clearly bullish, but this is normal. This is normal. No one bats an eye whenever we're trending and the price action is clean. But as soon as we start consolidating, everyone panics and thinks, the end is here. So this is 100% normal on IWM. We're bullish bias. Me personally, I would avoid anything in here. But if you do take a trade in here, you can't expect continuation. You've got to treat it as a scalp. Why? I always teach you, there's pros and cons to every system. You've got to know the cons to your system. And the cons to the break and retest is what? Consolidation and channels. But right now, this is just me, micro managing everything. This is a big deal. I'm really trying to pay attention here, find any key detail that I can. The reason this is a big deal is because, right, look at the last 4 weeks. The entire month on IWM has just been straight bearish, which is normal. I just broke this down on, what was it, SPY? Yeah, this is normal. We made an all-time high, and then, right, we pull back. That's expected. Buy low, sell high. We can expect some selling pressure to come in once we make an all-time high and we're at the top of the range. But what do you notice about this week? With only 3 days, keep in mind, today is only Wednesday. It's the 26th. This is a very big bullish candle. We're going to go here on the daily in a minute. This is a big bullish candle. This one candle alone is bigger than pretty much these last 3 weekly candles. So this is a big recovery here, right? Buyer stepped up at the bottom of this range. Buyer stepped up at the bottom of this range, wish to the damage, body tells the story, and this was just a dip buy. You can see, right, we made an all-time high, we pulled back, this was a dip buy, and buyers loaded up and pushed this thing higher. So IWM this thing is intact. It's definitely intact. Let's go here on the daily. All right, look at this on the daily. This thing is solid. Look at the last 4 days here. Obviously, this is last Friday's candle, but look at the last 4 days. Right, look how big these candles are compared to all these candles inside of this range. Just look left. So this thing is rocketing to the upside right now, which is pretty crazy. We're not that far away from all-time highs again, so crazy recovery here. It's funny how, we can sit in a channel forever, and once this thing wants to, start to move clean, and this is on any stock, it will. It 100% will. So, these last 4 days, these aren't little candles. These are big, bullish, green, thick candles to the upside. So super solid here on IWM. Your bullish bias on this name. Now, what's your A+ shot? Let me go back here on the weekly for you. What's your A+ shot here? You know what I want to see. I've been teaching you this. You should know it. You should say it with me. I want to see this channel turn into what? Support. Reason for that being, right? Look at this. I want to see all this channel. I mean, this is a channel. I want to see it break outside of this and turn into support. Why? Because this is trend higher, consolidation. This is our next leg higher. So a break over, 248.55. This is your A+ shot. You want to be in a trade here before we get back to the top of this range. Now, let me go here on the daily because I want you to be cautious a little bit. Reason for that being is all we got to do is look at the top of the range. Now, we know we're bullish bias. I mean, you can clearly see we had pretty much a beautiful bull flag here on the daily, right? This thing rockets to the upside. That's solid. But I'm noticing there's nothing but red candles up here. A lot of red candles up here, a lot of selling pressure up here. So just be cautious. If you get a break and retest into this 251, just don't be surprised if this thing does that. You can't be surprised. But this is a solid shot. I like this shot. You're bullish bias. You're taking a break and retest outside of the channel. This is a weekly level as well, so that's a very big deal. And I love the confluence here with the previous day high. So if that sets up, take your shot. That's a good shot. You miss every shot you don't take. It's a high probability shot. Your job as a trader is not to be right or wrong. It's to take your setups when they occur. Or, right, another option, which is a bit more conservative, if you want, just wait for that. That may take a couple of days, and then you can just wait for, this to turn into support. So either way, but I really like a break and retest over 248.55. That's something I may watch as well. If this thing is hot and the momentum is hot, I'm going to eye it, right? I have no bias towards any name. So if this sets up, I like it. I really do. Clean shot up into here. Just be cautious, like I said, because you can clearly see there's a lot of seller pressure sitting around 251.10 on IWM. Tesla. So the game plan today and yesterday, really our thesis has been very correct on Tesla, which was a pullback long off of 419.10. Our thesis was correct, just terrible price action. So if you didn't catch this, It was a hard trade to catch. If you were able to get into this, right? I mean, this is beautiful, right? Buyer step up here. You're risking right under the lower day. You got to push from 419 all the way up to 423. That's a solid trade. But then, I mean, you can clearly see majority of market open, of the market session, we kind of just did this. We just did that, right? So it's hard to catch that. It looked beautiful at open. The price action looked like it was clean. We ended up falling under, just chop. But slowly but surely, we did get above. Now, yesterday, our thesis was also correct. Let me zoom out here. Yesterday, our thesis was also correct on Tesla. I know I broke this down already, but I'll give it to you again, right? We were looking for a pullback long off of 410. Why? Because if we're above 410, we're bullish bias. Like I said, we had a pullback, just crappy price action. We ended up reclaiming, and this thing shot higher. So our thesis was correct, just terrible price action. So I'm asking myself, why is the price action like so bad right now on Tesla compared to all these other names? And then I said, okay, zoom out, Kel. Let's go on the daily. We're back in the channel. We are back in the channel. Go back a month ago, or even the start of the month. I've been saying as long as we are in between, pretty much at this point, 466 and 410, we're in a range. So remember when price, right, at the start of this week was under 410, the price action was cleaner, right? There's no surprise there. But what have I been trying to teach you? I know that the entries have been a little tough with this price action, but I said, right, we got to break out here. And this is, I'm showing you how the break and retest occurs on every level, especially the daily. We got our daily breakout here on Monday. So what was the plan yesterday on Tuesday? A pullback long off of 410. That was solid. That's set up. That was solid. It's set up, just bad price action. If you caught it, kudos to you. And then what happens today? Hammer stick candle, this thing is pushing to the upside. I say all that to say, what do I always say? You want to be in a trade at the bottom of the range before we get back up here. Your A+ setups don't look like an A+ setup in the moment. But if you're applying what I'm teaching you and you're trying to, trade with the overall higher time frame in the trend, this is how you catch these very big trades without forcing them. So that being said, the price action really isn't that clean on Tesla anymore because we're just backing all of this. We're just backing all that. Does this look like, give me one sec. Does this look like something that's trending? No, we're bullish bias. We're back above 410, but this is a low probability environment, right? We want to wait for something like that to occur. So coming into Friday or even into the future, like Monday, for an example, I would say really you can look for one more pullback long, off this 419 or off this 410, just because, you're bullish bias, you're getting in at the bottom of the range. But if you want to trade this name, as long as we're in between, 466 and 410, you got to treat it as a scalp. You can't expect continuation and clean price action in these conditions. These are low probability conditions. You can look for a break and retest here, over 429.45, but treat it as a scalp because now, right, you're dead smack in the middle of the range. You're dead smack in the middle of the range. So I hope that makes sense. Today I answered my own question because I was looking at Tesla as well. I ended up taking my shot on AMD right off the pre-market plan. And I'm like, man, why is Tesla so trash? And then I realized, oh crap, we're back above 410. So we're just back in this channel. So I really hope that makes sense there. NVIDIA. So I'm loving NVIDIA right now. I'm loving NVIDIA. This thing is setting up, right? This is how you sit on your hands. You let your trades come to you and you get paid for it, right? I don't come into the day looking for a trade every single day. I'm patient. I'm able to sit on my hands and wait for the highest probability setup. So I've been saying forever, I'm gonna continue to say it as long as it's here. As long as we are under 184.50, I'm hands off on NVIDIA. The reason for that being is because we're in a channel. We're in a channel. I don't like that. I don't want to be in that. I see, this bull flag setting up here on the daily. This is the dip buy. If we can get in here, that's a super solid setup. We know we're bullish bias on this name. Now, let's go to the intraday. Now, I told you, coming into today's session, I said if you want to look for a break and retest over 179.40, it's a valid shot. The reason for that being is because we're bullish bias, we're trending to the upside, but you'll also be over the previous day high. So it's a valid shot, but to me, that's about maybe a B- setup, not an A+ setup. So I skipped it, right? I'm sticking to my rules. As long as we're under 184, I'm not taking this trade. Now, let's zoom out here, and I'll show you exactly why that is and what I'm looking at. Not only are we in a channel, but I see this as a big trade that's setting up. Look at every time we push into 184.50. Just every time we get up here, sellers are just stepping up. We see our key level being respected on the dot. So what I want to see? I want to see all of this turn into support. It's been a very long time now, right? It's been, a little bit over a trading week since we've been over 184.50. This is a key level, and it's a weekly level. So I know if we can get above this, right, we can rock it to the upside. Not only that, there's nothing in its way. There's nothing in its way. Look at all this thin volume that has to get filled. So, if this sets up on Friday, I will be looking at next week cons, or if it sets up on Monday. This is another dip buy opportunity. I really want to make that clear. So, hey, this is a key level here to watch, at least for me. I'm hands off on this name as long as we are under 184.50, but I'm waiting for this. And the reason I love this, if it sets up on Friday, is, we're above the previous day high as well. Another high probability shot, another confluence that I like for this trade. Apple. So Apple, we're being patient. We know how Apple is. We got to be patient here. What happened? We ended up getting the break here on the daily. We still haven't got that retest. We're just being patient. We're waiting for the pullback long to 275.90. We still haven't got that retest. Let's go here on the 15-minute, right? This was 2 days ago. I'm sorry, this was yesterday on Tuesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Sorry. So this was on Tuesday. We got that big breakout here. We made a new all-time high. What do you notice? We never retested. Can't forget that. So nothing's really changed here. We're just waiting for the pullback long off of 275.90 on Apple. AMD. Honestly, I love AMD right now. AMD setting up. I've had this on my close watch list pretty much every day this week. My thesis set up yesterday, which was the pop and fade under 203, right? Because if we're under 203, we're bearish bias, but you know me, I don't trade the first 2 minutes. So that's set up perfectly. We push back to the bottom of this range. That's set up on the dot. Then the game plan coming into today, as I said, remember, as long as I'm in between 225 and 203, I'm neutral. I'm neither bearish or bullish bias because we're just sitting in this range. Now, that being said, what I love here about today's session is the reason I was looking for a pullback long or a break and retest over 209.25 is because we'll also be over the previous day high. So you can clearly see we're over the previous day high here, which is super solid. We opened up above the previous day high. We got that pullback long, and our thesis was correct. We pushed to the top of this range. Beautiful analysis, textbook trade, plan your trade, trade your plan. Now, the reason I said I love AMD, which is setting up again, I said this at the start of the week. If we can get over 214.85 and you just want to sit on your hands and wait, that's the biggest RR trade. There's nothing in its way if we get over that. Not only that, what do you notice here? What do you notice? Every time we push into 214, we can't hold above it. This is a key level. I love that. I love that. So if this sets up, right, I love the confluence here. We're over the previous day high. This is clearly a key resistance level. I want to see, right, this resistance, this channel turn into support. So this is in my opinion, an A+ opportunity. This is an A+ trade. Everything is screaming here, right? The confluence, the key level. We can't get a daily candle closure above 214.85, and there's nothing in its way. This is a big RR trade. I'll zoom out here on the daily for you just so you can see what I'm looking at. Look at this. This is solid. There's nothing in its way. The next key level here after 214 is 225. Sorry, give me one sec. 225. Just look left. There's nothing in its way here. Right? You can clearly see 225 is our key level. And if we get back above that, hey, that's now we're bullish bias. Now, if you're thinking how I'm teaching you to think a little bit, you see this as, okay, this is a dip buy opportunity. I can be in a trade down here before we get back up here. So Friday, if these names do set up, I'm most likely just going to be looking for next week comps. If I can just manage and hold these trades on Friday, if they set up, I'm looking for next week comps because these are some big opportunities here. These are some really big opportunities. You can see we ended up falling under 203. Buyer stepped up aggressively, and now we're pushing this thing higher. So look at the last 2 days on AMD, just straight upside, thick bullish green candles. So this is an A+ opportunity. I will be watching that on Friday. Now that those are done, let's go into the side watches. So Google, you really just got to be patient here. I'm not surprised that this thing is just rallying higher. Like I said, it's been almost a week now since Warren Buffett, he became like the 12th largest holder in Google shares. He bought something billions worth. So, that gap up as well is for sure a news catalyst play. He knows something we don't, obviously. But you're just waiting, right? We can clearly see this thing is making key levels on its way up. So something like this is valid. Something like this is valid. Even something like this is valid. You're just looking for pullback longs. That's really all you're looking for. But this name is obviously very bullish. You're just looking for pullback longs off these key levels on Google. And then Amazon. So I've been looking at Amazon. Amazon's been looking very, very good. Let's go here on the weekly, right? You can see 3 days. Weekly looks pretty good. It's green. We're inside of this channel. We can't forget that, right? We're inside of this channel. Can't forget that. But let me go here on the daily, actually on the intraday, right? Amazon's respecting its key levels on the dot. It really is. Let's go to yesterday, right? I know someone actually caught this trade, so kudos to him. He took my advice. He didn't look at his P&L, and he was able to embrace the risk and actually hold this trade, right? Trading is a lot easier when you don't look at your P&L. Just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. I promise you it is. So what did he do? He held this thing, right? And he said, okay, as long as we're above 226, I'm just going to hold and let this thing play out. He ends up catching this entire move full position, which is crazy. Of course, he didn't put on that much size. It takes time to practice these things, but he's starting to understand it, which is good. So, I mean, beautiful. Look at this displacement here on AMD. I'm sorry, on Amazon. Look at this. Straight upside. Some people, FOMO kicks in. They feel like, oh, crap, I missed a move. You got a retest here, and then you got another retest here. So you got 2 shots here for the retest, and this thing continues higher. Let's go here on the 15-minute. What do you notice here? This thing is trending higher. We're bullish bias. Even though we are in a channel, we're bullish bias on this name. Right? Look at this on the 15. What are we doing? We're just trending higher every single day. Right? This is super, super solid here on Amazon. So I'm watching this even here. Right? This is a solid setup. Look at the RR here. If you can get a break and retest over 231.45 on Amazon, man, there's nothing in this way. I love the confluence. One of my favorite setups is when I have a key level and it correlates with the previous day high or the previous day low. I love that because now price is outside of a range and it's more likely to continue higher because we're over the previous day high. So this looks really good on Amazon. I would be watching this. We made a weekly high today, 232. This thing is pushing up. We're bullish bias. I'll zoom out here on the weekly just to show you. If we reclaim that, we're definitely bullish bias. I'll show you that in a sec. But this is really what you're watching here. This is what you're watching. This 231.45, that's a key level for a break and retest. I love to see this reaction. I want to see that. You can see pre-market key reactions as well. We ended up falling under, right? Push this thing lower. So that tells me I did my job. I found a key level. So going into Friday or Monday, you're looking for a break and retest over 231.45. Now let's go here on the weekly, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at. I'll go to cleaner chart. Okay, so we know we're bullish buyers. We're trending on the weekly. Right now we're just consolidating, right? This is all a channel. We know that. This is a big deal. Why? What am I teaching you? I want to see this channel do what? Turn into support. This is a big deal. If we can get a break and retest over 236, like I said, I love that it's a whole number. You can see all the reactions here on the weekly time frame, right? That's solid. We trend higher, consolidation, next leg higher. That is a super solid setup here, targeting the top of this range. So Amazon's in play. It's sneaking up. I love the conditions right now. We're going into Black Friday. We're going into the holidays. What are people going to be doing? Shopping, online shopping. So I love the conditions right now that's setting up here on Amazon. But look at this, right? This thing is trending. This thing is in play. Look at all the key levels here. It's just been getting respected perfectly on the dot. Like I said, it's a little bit of a slow mover on the underline, but it respects technical analysis perfectly. Sorry, give me one sec. Look at that. It respects its key levels on the dot. Love to see that. This is what you want to see, you know, when you're trading names like this. On the dot, all our key levels are being respected. So just be cautious here. Like I said, on Friday, it's a half day, right? Be conservative. But these plays are setting up. You know, we got some good things cooking up. Next week should look really, really good. Amazon, you can keep this on your close watch list. You see I have an alert here set at 236. So once again, appreciate the love, support. I hope this helps. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Let's keep this thing going. What a way to end the month. And I will see you all Friday. Actually, yeah, Friday. I'll see you all Friday.